how would your woman act if she had a nation of her own? Huh? And think about that. Why you got all these intelligent answers and well, you see what you gotta be man, I don't want to hear that. See? What you got to do is, instead of having a woman sitting up here talking about she gonna be independent, y'all brothers sit up here need to be independent. How would your woman act if you gave her a nation of her own, like the white man give all the nations of the white kingdom? He give his woman France, Denmark, Sweden. What if you was to do like the Africans and the African man? What does he do? He give his woman Zimbabwe, Rwanda, South Africa. I mean, there's 50 other countries down there you can sit up there and name. They women have their own nation, right? You can't say that. And then we got everything to talk about but that. I ain't heard this in none of the discussions. I don't hear nobody talking about that. But you want to sit up here and talk about everything but the root of the problem, and you will never fix any problem until you pull the weed. The woman wants a nest, and she wants the nicest nest she can get. And she wants she's a nest builder by nature. Okay? Our women are the only women on the planet who don't have a nest. Okay? Okay? So you got to let that sink in for 2 seconds. The so-called black woman is the only woman on the entire planet. The only woman. And how many nations or countries do we have? Around like over 160, 170, right? So out of 160, 170 different nations on this planet, all with different kinds of women on it. On each nation, a different kind of woman lives on each of those nations. Our women are the only ones who don't have a nation. And if you don't have a nation, that means you don't have a home. And if you don't have a home, that means you don't have a nest. You a bird without no nest. Oh, what is it? What is a bird without no nest will go crazy. A woman without no home will go crazy. Why? She's a home. They used to call women homemakers, right? Now that's offensive. We don't call them that. Right. They go, why is it offensive? Because they don't want you to cater to your woman's nature. Because if you cater to your woman's nature, she's going to be happy. And if she's happy, then she ain't going to leave you. For who? For the dude who's trying to steal her away from you. Right? See, we don't get that part, though, because we think everybody's our friend. Right? Right? We should know better, but we don't know that. We don't know better. We don't see the game that's getting played on us. We don't see how we getting manipulated. And we don't see how we getting played out of our own woman. Okay, you will never make the so-called black woman happy. I don't care how much you say you think you're going to make her happy until you give her the same thing that the so-called white man gives his woman. What does he give her? The United States of America. What else does he give her? In Europe, he gives her Britain, France, right? He gives her Germany. He gives her Yugoslavia. He gives her Russia. Right? These are all nations and countries that the so-called white man gives his woman this actual nation. Okay? And it's not just white people. The Chinese people, what does the Chinese man do for his woman? He gives his woman China. Okay? Okay? See, we got to wake up to what's really going on and what's the problem with our women and why we so scared to give our women what everybody else gives their women. Everybody on the planet. It'd be one thing if there was another group of people who we could talk about who also does not give their woman. And I don't want to hear the excuses. We go into it don't matter how come you got a cold. It matters that you got a cold. It don't matter how come your leg is broke. It matters that your leg is broke. Right? So, because we always want to jump into the how comes. Well, it don't matter how. We were slaves for 400 years. And that's what we usually go back to. Well, because we was white men slaves. I don't want to hear that. Because first of all, no, we weren't. They were the white. They were our slaves. See, and part of our problem is we don't know what the hell's going on with our history. We don't know who we are. We've been manipulated by the media since the very first film that ever came out called Birth of a Nation, which got changed into Birth of a Nation, which was originally called The Klansman. Okay, the very first Hollywood movie was called The Klansman, and you wonder how come Hollywood treats you the way they treat you. I mean, it was born in The Klansman was the very first Hollywood movie. I mean, that's a whole nother video. This is what we got to get across. This what got to get sink in through our brains, so-called black man. Okay, because you're the only one who can do it. Every other group of people on the entire globe has given their women, and this is why they women respect them. Okay, this is why they women don't talk crazy to them. This is why they women sit up there and is awful extra feminine towards them. Why? Because they don't have to be the man. Why? Because they man got them a nation, and what you don't know is who they got their nation from. You so-called black American. See, that's what we don't know. We just don't know. Why? Because we don't know our history. We think we know our history, but we don't know our history. We got a group of people who's trying to I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that they were openly trying to exterminate us to the point where they said they were trying to exterminate us in the newspapers and on television. Openly were saying this up until the 1960s. They openly said it up until the 1960s. It's called Negro extermination. Look that up. Okay, it's everywhere. Okay, so a group of people who you integrated with, who half of them said they want to exterminate you. That means erase your entire race off the planet. Like, right? That's what that means, right? So we getting educated by the people who we know half of them openly said that this is what they want. And we said, no, but the other half loves us, so we're going to integrate and Martin Luther King and March and Kumbaya. That's what we think, right? Okay, but it didn't work out like that. It didn't work out like that. What I'm trying to tell you is that we're the only group of people on the planet who has not given our women what every other woman on the planet has been given. And what is that? Her own nation. A Mexican man, he can sit up there and get his back rubbed in peace and harmony and have 10 babies and have a great life. Why? Because he gave his woman a nation. And if you only knew how he gave his woman a nation, okay, and how that nation used to be our nation. So you don't know that because you don't know your history. Okay, right? See, our women got her nation taken away, and she had a lot of nations. Okay, she had an entire empire at once. Our women had an entire empire at once, but we don't even know what the name of that empire is. We don't know the name of our nation. We don't even know the name of our people. So how can we sit up here? We calling ourselves crayon colors. We sitting up here calling ourselves people of color is the newest term. Right? We sitting up here been called ourselves black, Negro, colored, everything else, African American. We claim Africa, they don't claim us. And there's a reason, a real good reason they don't claim us, right? Which we have no idea. But my point of all of this is that every woman, the African women, what do they do? African women have 4 wives. They women love them. They women respect them. They look at us and they like, what's wrong with them? That they don't mess with us. They do not, and you know this. This isn't like a secret. They don't mess with us. Why? Because we don't get the respect of any group of people on the entire planet, and we never will until we do what? We give our woman, and we can't even get the respect from our own woman anymore. Okay, we used to get that at least back up until the 80s, up until the drug, when they really flipped out on us. Right? When we start changing the music up, doing everything, they divided us, conquered us, and they've done it so well ever since starting in 1914. I mean, it started before that, but that's when the media started it on us. That's when the media started on us, 1914. The only way to fix the black woman is to give her what was taken from her. And what was taken from her? Her nation was taken from her. And what's her nation? Right here in America. Okay? America was taken from her. Britain, that's not even the real name of it, right? But Great Britain was taken from her, right? Because we used to work with Great Britain, and we're the ones who brought so-called white people over here as slaves. We brought them over here as slaves, not the other way around. But we sitting up here letting our former slaves be our teachers now. This is the craziest part. We're under a complete mind control, and they have mind controlled us so hard and crazy that we really have no idea what the hell's going on. We have to find out who we are. We have to. The only way you will not fix your problems as a man, you will never fix your problems as a man, as a black man, as a so-called black man, until you do what? Until you give your woman a nation. And what does a nation symbolize? A nation is her home. She's a woman. A woman has a few basic things that she needs. She needs a nest. Okay? She needs a nest. She's a nest builder, right? Look at nature. Watch the Nature Channel if you need to. Go out to a farm. Watch how animals interact. Understand that you are also a part of nature too. There was a time when you didn't have cars and everything else, and you lived right out there with the animals. There was a time where you lived out there with the animals. See? But you done forgot that. And you think they got you believing that, you have nothing to do with nature. You can learn so much from nature. Everybody needs a home. Everybody is supposed to have their own home. If you go out into nature, the polar bear got his own home. Where he live at? Up there in the ice. How many other bears is up there with him? None. Why? Because that's his home. The grizzly bear is out in California, up in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. Why? Because that's his home. It ain't nothing like up there. He eats good salmon and berries and fruits. And the polar bear eats seals and walruses up in the cold. He like it up there cold. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand how this thing works, but they both have a home. The lion has a home, right? We exterminated all the lions from America. We don't even know that lions used to live in America. We exterminated all the lions in America, but the ones that still are alive that live in Africa, they women have territories of miles to where this is their hunting grounds. This is where they go hunt at. This is their home. This is their territory, right? Everybody needs a home, and our women are the only group of people who do not have a nation to call their own. Are women. See? So until you can fix that, you always going to have a problem. See? And it didn't used to be such a big problem before because, see, it was closer to when all this happened. See, because we don't know all this happened. When all this happened, when we lost our home, because we've been convinced that we slaves from Africa, and we not slaves from Africa. We the original people of America. We the original people of North Africa, and we the original people of Europe, all mixed into one. We done mixed into one. We not just the original people of America. The original people of America were working with the original people of Spain, the original people of England, the original people of Scotland, the original people of Ireland. They were working with the royalty. Who was the British? Who was the Americans trying to escape? Who do they hate more than anybody else? The king. What do so-called black people love to call themselves? What's up, king? What's up, queen? We just love to call ourselves that. Why? Because it's in our instinct. Because we are the kings and the queens. We are the aristocracy. We are the heirs. That's who we are. But see, we don't know that anymore because we got overthrown. We got overthrown by the prisoners who started calling themselves slaves, and we don't know that. And these prisoners who started calling themselves slaves, who got their liberty on July 4th, 1830, who got their freedom. That's why they celebrate freedom and liberty so much and ride around with their flags on their pickup truck. We free. What do you mean you free? Why you celebrate liberty so much? Oh, because you was our slave. See? That's what we don't understand. See? We done got mind controlled so heavy and so hard to where we done forgot who we are. And the so-called white man done took our nation, our home, with the help of his allies, right? With the help of his allies, and we'll get into who the allies are, but him, because he didn't do it by himself, but he was able to take over our home. Our home is America. He was able to take over our home before he even got to America, which was Spain. He was able to take over Britain. He was able to take over the black kings and queens of Europe. And this all happened at the same time in 1830. It started before that. It started around the 18 teens. The War of 1812 is when it really full on started. Thomas Jefferson. That's why he's such a big hero. Okay. But this is when this whole thing started. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that our women have lost their home. And it was not because they were brought here from Africa as slaves. The Africans helped the so-called white man. This is why they such good buddies today. They helped them take our land over. They said, make them believe the only way they get to stay on this land is if they call themselves African. The only way they get to stay on their land, if they don't call themselves African, they got to hit that Trail of Tears. Go to Oklahoma. And what happened in Oklahoma when they got there? They dropped bombs on them. That's where the Black Wall Street. Yeah, because Black Wall Street was sitting up there, had all the money. Why? Because we owned all of America. We had all the money. This is our home. It got taken over. Okay? And what did they do? They gave our home to their women. Okay? Okay, this is what happened. We don't know how they got their home. They tell us some bullcrap story about how they got their home, and then they tell us we from Africa, and the Africans are sitting up there like, I guess they from Africa. We don't know where in Africa. Don't nobody know where we from in Africa. Just Africa. See? Because there's a group of Africans who were infighting. Okay? There's a group of Africans who were infighting. And the group of Africans who lost, who are our family members, where do they live at? Where do they live at? Is it in Niger? How do you spell Niger? Huh? See? Because let's get into it. They live in Niger. What do they call us? Niggas. Right? They call us niggas, and when you do your history, you start finding out that the niggas who's related to you, who are the so-called Berbers, the slaves, as of the 1830s, after they got their freedom from us. Oh yeah, where do they live at? All they got to do is change the pronunciation. They live in Niger. Well, Niger sound like nigga. Yeah, because it is. Because they circled us out, pushed us right out of North Africa. They pushed us all out of North Africa, turned North Africa white. And to the south, what's at the south of North Africa? What's on the south end of North Africa? Niger. Right? And why do they say it like Niger? Because they don't want you to make the connection. It's called nigga. That's why they call you niggas. This is why they call you niggas. Because those niggas in Africa was working with the niggas in America, and they stole their land. They didn't just steal our land. They stole our brothers in Africa, their land too. See? We do got family members in Africa. We are part African, but we don't know the divide between Africa. We don't know that there's two sides to Africa. We don't know that one side hates the American so-called black man, and the other side loves us because we are them, but they don't know that we are them. See, because they done cut the cord, so we don't even understand who we are, and they just tell us we slaves from Africa. Okay? So my point of all of this is what do we need to know all this for? Because when you don't know your history, you don't know what happened to you, you can never fix the root of the problem. So you'll never get your woman back. Why? Because you got a group of people who's trying to steal your woman. And how do you know that? Because all you got to do is turn on television and see who they sitting up there pimping your woman. They sitting up there having 60, 70-year-olds on social media hugged up and taking vacations with your woman. Okay? With your 21-year-old woman, and having mama sit up there and sanction it. Why? Because the woman gonna sit up there and follow the leader. And little by little, they just taking baby steps, doing a Chris Brown on you. Gonna take your woman. We don't care if you got a man. See, that's why they do this to us. The only way you're gonna ever fix the black woman is to give her nation back. And whose job is it to give her nation back? What army is full of women? What army has ever fought on the earth that's just full of women? They'll go tell you that, well, the Black Panthers army was. Yeah, that's how, look at how they just pimp you. Look at how they just smack you upside your head. They put on a movie and have your army full of women. I ain't never seen a movie of white people with their army full of women. They cut off all their hair with the Christian ritual of tonsure. You don't even know why they make you cut your hair. And if you look at television, everybody who sit up there and cut their hair, everybody who sit up, because why? Because it's the Christian ritual. It's the Christian ritual. You got to cut your hair and you got to wear a dress if you a man. So they about to Chris Brown you. They stealing your woman. They flaunting it on you in ways they would never do 20, 30 years ago. Never do. That woman wouldn't even tolerate it 20, 30 years ago. They so bad, they don't care no more. Ask yourself this. How would your woman act if we gave them what every other group of people in the entire world give to their women, which is a nation of their own? How would your woman act if she had a nation of her own? And think about that. Why you got all these intelligent answers and well, you see what you gotta be. I mean, I don't want to hear that. See, what you got to do is, instead of having a woman sitting up here talking about she gonna be independent, y'all brothers sit up here need to be independent. How would your woman act if you gave her a nation of her own, like the white man give all the nations of the white kingdom? He give his woman France, Denmark, Sweden. What if you was to do like the Africans and the African man? What does he do? He give his woman Zimbabwe, Rwanda, South Africa. I mean, there's 50 other countries down there you can sit up there and name. They women have their own nation, right? You can't say that. And then we got everything to talk about but that. I ain't heard this in none of the discussions. I don't hear nobody talking about that. See? But you want to sit up here and talk about everything but the root of the problem, and you will never fix any problem until you pull the weed. A woman is a nest builder. A woman wants to be taken care of. A woman wants to be provided for. A woman wants a man to protect her nest. A woman wants a man to protect her nest. That's what your job is. What's your job, so-called black man? First of all, to give your woman a nest. And then second of all, to protect the nest that you gave her. It ain't no different from, you can put it on a small scale. You give your woman a house. And you protect that house from intruders. And if somebody try to jump up in your house, what do? You hide under the covers? Do you run away? Do you say, oh, look, you better go get them? You don't do that. No, you go get the sawed off. That's what you do. You go protect your home. That's what you do. See, so when you can get it on a small scale, then you can start getting it on a big scale. Okay? But see, our women don't get it on a big scale. Why? Because we don't have our own nation. And you guys want to talk about everything about integrating and being a part of white society and everything else, while the white society got their own nation and our women don't. And what do? Look down on us. Who looks up to us? Nobody. And it's all because of Hollywood and the trick and the mind control, because we the biggest lions out here and we just don't know it. Her own nest is her nature. We think we've never had a nation. We think we really believe this, that 50 so-called white people came and got millions, brought 20 million of us over from a whole nother continent and brought us over here into this empty place. Yeah, right. I proved everything that I'm saying too. And it's in the book. And I wrote a book about it. And the only reason I wrote a book about it is because you will never, ever, ever, ever. You will never fix your problems until you know who you are. You will never fix your problems until you know where you are, who you are. The root, you can never fix a problem that you don't know the root of the problem. And we don't know that so-called Black Americans used to run the entire world up until July 4th, 1830. We do not know that, and we have to know that. And our headquarters was New Orleans. The headquarters of one of the most powerful states was New Orleans. Okay? Another one of our most powerful places was Houston. Another one of our most powerful places was Memphis. Another one of our most powerful places was Chicago. All the places where all the hottest rappers come from is where our headquarters was, because they made our rappers our new leaders. And I ain't saying nothing wrong with rap. Boy, come on now. What I'm saying is I know what it done did to us, and you need to learn what it did to you. Because I saw it change. I saw where it changed. I saw it change. I saw the people change. I was there. We don't know that we ever had a nation. We don't know that America is ours. But it is ours. We own it. We don't know that. On paper, we still own it. And we don't know that. We think we were slaves for 400 years and since 1619 project. Man, that's a bunch of bull crap. And I proved it's a bunch of bull crap. I wrote a whole book about it. It's called Lost Along the Way. Go to lostalongtheway.org and start figuring out who you are. Why? Because you got so much work to do, so-called black man. You got to get your nation back. First of all, you got to get your nation back. It ain't no reparations. Okay, it ain't no. I'm gonna get into that. And I got a whole nother video I'm gonna make about reparations, because we ain't sitting up here begging for no reparations. I always got us trying to beg for something. Put on your slave voice first and hold up a sign and beg. That ain't what they did. They didn't do that when they was handing your land over to their woman. They didn't have no sign begging. They want you to do that. Why? Because they got you under mind control. We was the slave master and got tricked by Hollywood and some serious mind control efforts into thinking we were slaves from Africa. And they told us, and during the Trail of Tears, right out in the year 1830, that was the Trail of Tears, okay? Then we think that some Red Indians got kicked off. No, the Red Indians was helping them fight us. That's why they gave them the reservations. They gave them the land and then said, nah, we'll take some of that back. They did the same thing with the Mexicans. We're going to give you California. We need that back. That's what they did. We're going to give you Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. That's why Mexicans is like, California is ours. Yeah, it was for about 10 years until they took it back. And before that, it was ours. Forever, it was ours. See? But we don't know our history. We don't even know the name of our land. I know the name of our land. I need y'all to find out who you are. Because you're not black people. And you're not niggas. We ran the whole world until July 4th, 1830. The Africans whom we were enslaving, because we don't know what slavery is about. We don't know what it means. We really have no idea. We don't know what slavery is. We had white people enslaved. We had Mexicans enslaved. We had the Peruvians enslaved. We had the Africans enslaved. Black Americans did that. Because we think that slavery is something different than what it really is. See, we don't know what slavery really is. I dedicated an entire super long chapter on the audio/video book. It's probably about 5-6 hours long just on that chapter about slavery. Because if you don't know what slavery really is, then they're going to keep you in this little mind control. You don't know what slavery even is. You don't know that you was a slave master on top of that. So we can't just be mad because our women won't respect us. You know, we so-called black men in America, and I'm only talking about black Americans. We like the little kid who's getting bullied in school who hasn't stood up for himself yet. Who's still scared to stand up for himself. Not knowing that if he ever decides to stand up for himself, he ain't gonna get bullied no more. See? That's what the so-called black man has been convinced and mind controlled into thinking that we're just so helpless victims who could not stand up for ourselves, and we need the so-called white man to do everything for us. And that's really how we live. Because we're the only group of people on the entire planet that does not govern theyself, judge theyself, police theyself, jail theyself, or feed theyself. We're the only group of people who does not check that list. Mexicans, there's a Mexican government. You go to court, you go in front of a Mexican judge. You get pulled over, you get pulled over by the Mexican police. You go to jail, you go to the Mexican jail. You want to eat, you go to the Mexican grocery store. Right? Canadians. You're a so-called white man in Canada and you Canadian. What happens? Oh, you go to the Canadian Parliament, right? The Canadian government. You get in trouble, you go in front of that Canadian judge, right? White judge, because they took Canada from us too. Okay? You get pulled over, you get pulled over by that Canadian police. You go to jail, you go to the Canadian jail, right? And you want to eat, you go to the Canadian grocery store. That's what you do. We can say this about every group of people on the planet, except for us. And even so-called black people, right? If you go to Zimbabwe, guess what? They got a Zimbabwe government. You get in trouble, you go in front of the Zimbabwe judge. You get pulled over by the Zimbabwe police. You go to jail, you go to the Zimbabwe jail. And if you want to eat, you eat at the Zimbabwe grocery store. That's what you do. And I can say this about 170, however many countries there is. It's over 160. Okay? I can say that for every single group. Chinese judge, Chinese police, Chinese government. Okay? Chinese grocery store. I can say that about everybody, every group. Peru, Argentina, China, Kazakhstan, Yugoslavia, Germany, all of them. And what is that What is that woman who live in Kazakhstan got that our women don't got? She got her a piece of land, a nation to call her own. She got a grocery store that from her own. That's what she got. Right? Every man in the world has taken what was ours and split it up amongst themselves and gave what was ours to their women. And as a result, their women respect them. We lost it. Don't even know that we lost it anymore. Got tricked into believing that we slaves from Africa. And we wonder why our women got a problem. Look, they need their own. Just like every other woman needs her own, our women need our own. And if they don't get their own, just like if you don't change the oil in your car, it's gonna start overheating. Just like our women is overheating. They getting mad. Why? Because we ain't giving them what they need. And then our rappers is telling us don't give them nothing. You better not be no trick. Don't be no trick. Don't be simping. No simping. Like y'all really pimping and y'all not pimping. They changed the name of pimping to sex trafficking and now y'all scared of that. Y'all don't even pimp no more. Shit. They giving you life for it now. Shit, back in the 70s, it was cool. Goldie was cool. Look what happened to that. Goldie a sex trafficker now. Boy, they we owned it all. And they was our slaves. And they got their freedom. Okay? Get that. We got to get our identities back. And the only way we ever going to get our identities back is to sit up here and instead of believing the stories of the people who put us in this situation and getting educated by them and following what their advice is, go get you an education. No, we about to learn it on our own. We don't need them. We need our own land. They supposed to be paying us. They ain't paying us no damn reparations. We was the slave master. How do that sound? They laugh at us every time we ask for reparations. They like, please look around. The reparations have been paid. This is what they laugh in your face when you ask them for reparations. Yeah, no, we don't need reparations. We need our rent because you want our land. How about that? You ain't sitting up here begging. How you gonna beg? Does the landlord beg you for your rent? No, he evict you. He evicts you when you don't pay your rent. And all I know is every single place around the whole world, the American companies don't get to go to China and not pay rent. You think they get to go make your pretty iPhone over there in China and the Chinese government don't get their cut? You crazy. You crazy. They'll get kicked out so fast. They'll get evicted. Just like you get evicted when you don't pay your rent. Right? But they got us thinking we slaves from Africa. We not from here. This ain't our land. See? That's part of the trick. That's why you got to know your history. You got to know who you are. You got to know who you are. As long as you don't know who you are, you're going to keep falling for their bull crap. You're never going to satisfy your woman. And you're going to be ready to kill yourself in no time. And that's what they waiting on. We supposed to be, they don't want Generation Alpha to even ever show up. They don't want Generation Alpha. You heard the generations. Oh yeah, I'm Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, the millennials. What comes after Generation Z? Oh, Generation A, Generation Alpha, a new beginning. They know that new beginning is coming. So what are they doing? They attacking your relationships. They're attacking your relationships. And how do they attack your relationships? Real easy. They just sit up here and stop us from giving the woman what she needs. And then they give everything they tell you not to do, they go do. Don't trick on your woman while they sit up there and say, here goes your welfare. We'll give it to you. And they so pimping with it. They like, we're going to give you just enough. We know you desperate. We're going to give you just enough. We're going to give you just enough. And then they sit up there and get the people who not even from here. They open the door to them and say, come on in. See, because they got a whole nother plan and trick with that. But we don't even get that. That's a whole nother video in itself because they got us They not aborting their babies. They not saying, oh, you got too many kids at the border. No, they come over here with 4-5 kids. Bring them all. I got a reason for that. See, if every woman on the planet, Africans included, get a nation of their own and respect their men, there go your answer right there. There go your answer right there. Right? It's time for us to stand up as men, like the people who took our land stood up as men. Okay? Right? But they got us not wanting to even beat men and stand up. Come on, man. So we have to start figuring out how they got their money in the first place. But we don't know that. And it's time for us to learn. That's why I said I wrote a whole book about it. It's not you're not about to sit up here and deny it. You're not about to deny it. You need to read it. You need to figure out who you are, because until you figure out who you are, you will never figure out how to get out of your situation. You will never figure out how to fix your woman. You have to get to the root of these problems. We got to know the real history of slavery, what it really is, how so-called white people got their slavery or got their freedom from so-called Black Americans. Okay, your woman's never, ever, ever, ever gonna be happy, no matter what you do. It's like fixing a symptom of a cold. Yeah, I fixed this, but now this is bad. It's like taking a drug on one of them commercials where they say, "Hey, you want your skin to clear up? We'll clear it up." And then they give you that laundry list of things that tell you it's gonna happen, including death. As soon as your skin clear, you dead. But your skin is clear. You look good for your funeral. This is how they playing us. Your woman will never be happy, no matter what, as long as you come second to so-called any other group of people. But you don't just come second. You come second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. You come second to people who not even from here. That's what they think about you. And they think about it for a reason, because they own something you don't even. It's a whole video about immigration. I'll drop it soon. You got to give your woman a home. You got to give your woman a nest. You got to give your woman what women want. This is just what women want. There's certain things that you want, and it's just what you want. And the only way you get is if you give. And you got to give to your woman in order to get. Okay? This is our land. They need to be paying us rent. And there's a way of going about that. But we need to sit up here and first figure out who we are, because we're not ready to collect our rent just yet. We almost there. They don't owe us reparations. Slaves get reparations. The slaves got the reparations. The slaves got the reparations. Now it's time to fix the slave master. Who's the slave master? You, so-called Black American. And what does the slave master get after the slave's been set free and want to keep doing business on the slave master's land? What do they get? They get rent. They get their rent. And if you don't want to pay your rent on the slave master's land and you don't want to be a slave, then guess what you got to do? You got to go home. You're not the one who tells anybody who comes and goes. This is our land. We not slaves from Africa. You're not pulling that on us no more. And as soon as we figure that out, like I said, watch how things start changing. They don't owe us reparations, but that's going to be a whole nother video on itself. We have to know our real history to fix our problems. I need you all to go to lostalongtheway.org. I need you to give your woman what she needs. And what does she need? A nation. Okay? You ain't going to tell me or convince me any other way that you're going to fix your woman problem until you give her what she want, just like everybody else give they woman what everybody else. And you're not going to tell me you can't do it when every other group of the nation and on the whole world does it except for you. If there was at least one other group who couldn't do it, then okay. Even the Indians, even the red American Indians who they turned on and gave them reservations, they got their own reservation. You don't even got no reservation. Come on, we got a long way to go. But it don't matter how far you falling. It matters how you get back up from wherever you are. You got to get back up from wherever you are, period. Period. It's our job to bring in Generation Alpha. And they stopping us. They messing our relationships up to the point where we don't even have kids. Our younger generation ain't even having kids. Women in their 30s not even having kids. Well, yeah, because we can't find no black men we want to have a kid with. I know you can't. Why? Because there ain't no black men who trying to give you what you need, and that's your nation. We're going to get it together, though. We're going to get it together. And our woman going to get more. She's going to get the biggest nation, just like she used to have. She's not just going to have a nation. She's going to have an empire, just like she used to have. Because her ancestors had empires. And that's why she's so picky. Anyway, I need you to go to lostalongtheway.org and become a member of the website. Become a member of the website so you can check out this video book. It's 30-something hours long. It's going to take you a while. You need to read it. If you only read it an hour a day, and in 30 days, you will be a new person. It will change your life because you have to know who everybody is. And we don't know not only who we are, but we don't know who everybody else is either. See? And it's time to figure that out. It's time to figure out not only who we are, it's time to figure out who everybody else is as well. Who everybody is. It's not just us. Lostalongtheway.org. Lostalongtheway.org. I can't emphasize that enough. Lostalongtheway.org. Give your woman what she needs back. Give your woman what she needs. Peace and love.
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.